This is exclusive, never-seen-before video of dozens of angry Muslims attacking, then burning Pastor Musa Isa's church.
They took pews, Bibles, chairs, and sound equipment, then set them on fire. They did this while chanting Allahu Akbar. I felt so sad. I started to cry.
The cell phone video also shows the crowd beating a church member.
I feel horrible when I watch the video. I ask myself, why? Why did they do this to us? What did we do to deserve this?
It happened January 17th, 10 days after two Muslim terrorists stormed the offices of French magazine Charlie Hebdo, executing 12 people for publishing satirical images of the Prophet Muhammad, 3,600 miles away in Niger. Muslims, angered by the cartoons, attacked the country's Christians in revenge.
We spent years building the church. Within minutes, it was all gone.
And it wasn't just Pastor Isa's church. How many churches, how many Christian homes were destroyed?
69 churches and 11 homes were destroyed. That's a total of 80 Christian buildings within a few hours.
They marked your home with a sign to let them know that this is a home that they must attack. Evangelical leader Burima Kimso says the viciousness of the attacks shocked the Christian community. In Zinder, Niger's second-largest city, attackers burned all but one church to the ground. And in the capital city, Niamey, 45 churches were destroyed, including Pastor Kimso's. You believe that this was systematic? You believe that this was premeditated attack on the churches of Niger?
Absolutely. It was premeditated. It was organized. It was shocking because systematically, in a few hours, churches were targeted and houses attacked. So it means that someone organized and executed this plan.
3 months later, the government has still not arrested anyone in connection with the attacks.
I tell our brothers and sisters that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities. We have to encourage ourselves because persecution is part of the life of the church. There is no church that existed without persecution.
In addition to destroying several churches, the rioters targeted Christian schools. This particular Christian school was home to some 240 students. The majority of them were Muslim. And as they ransacked each classroom, they left behind a message on the blackboard. This one reads, "There is no God but God, and the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger."
Well, I think they tried to
One of the teachers, David Bai, now helps oversee rebuilding efforts.
I think this message on the blackboard, they're trying to tell us that we really don't belong here. This is a Muslim area, and they want to keep it pure for them, and they don't want any Christians here.
An accusation Muslim leaders here flatly deny.
Islam is a religion of tolerance and peace. In Islam, we are not familiar with such acts of violence.
Boubacar Seydou is a key leader at Niger's largest mosque. He allowed CBN News to attend and document Friday prayers. In his first television interview since the attacks, Seydou denied that Muslims were involved in the attacks.
Muslims did not take part in these attacks. Sure, there were many Muslims protesting the cartoons, but no one pushed them to attack churches. I'm sure if we arrested some of those involved in the church burnings, you discovered that in fact, Christians were among those taking part in the violence. This is what is left of our bedroom. All our stuff was in here.
Pastor Zakaria Jadi, whose church and home were among those destroyed, says it's ludicrous to claim Christians were involved.
The mob kept chanting over and over in Arabic, "God is great," as they robbed and burned my home. I've lived with Muslims all my life. I know a Muslim when he stands in front of me.
By the way, the government is in negotiations with members of the Christian community to try and figure out how on earth they're going to rebuild all these churches. In the meantime, with so much of this place still in ruin, churches like this one, folks are gathering every Sunday right behind the cross. Pastor Jadi's wife, Ruth, holding her burned Bible, has forgiven the men who committed this atrocity.
My prayer is that they would come to know Jesus and the Lord would touch them, even in a dream. I want God to do to them what he did to Paul the Apostle when he persecuted Christians. God touched him on his way to Damascus. I want those men to experience that same touch from God.
That is Pastor Isa's prayer too. Today he spends time developing closer friendships with several of his Muslim neighbors who actually fought back as the mob destroyed the church and his home.
When the first and second wave of rioters came, some of my Muslim neighbors stood in front of the church. But as more rioters attacked with deadlier weapons, it became too dangerous. So I told my Muslim neighbors to let them in.
Pastor Jadi says the threats have not subsided. He's all right with that, though. He believes God is preparing Christians in Niger for great times of revival.
The Lord is training us. He's building us. There cannot be increase without hardships. If you want to go to the next level, you have to go through hardships.
George Thomas, CBN News, Niamey, Niger.